Alrighty. We're just getting things started. So I wanted to give everyone a chance to log in. I actually was going to start on time, and someone showed up at my door at that very moment, and I had to chase them away. Also, I've changed the camera angle slightly because I noticed last week's live stream, the camera kept bouncing because the table was shaking a little tiny bit. And I was like, okay, how can I arrange this to where I can be on camera and not be annoying? So I made that change for you guys. Chip, you're second. Elmer beat you to it. It was that close. It was almost the exact same thing. So I'm assuming everyone can hear me okay. Let me see. Elmer, I think you were. Yep, you were first. Alrighty. So great to see you all. Today's live stream is going to be quick. I can't do a long one like last week. Matter of fact, that was crazy long. And I had a few people say, why was it so long? Because they hadn't watched it to the point where you guys all said, keep going, keep going. So, surprise. But we did a long one last week. We're not doing a long one this week. My son is coming over with his son, my grandson, and that is going to be in 55 minutes. So we are going to wrap this up right at 3 o'clock so I can spend some time with family before they have to leave again because they're only briefly in town. Thank you very much for the feedback on the sound and the quality. I appreciate that. I decided to leave the metal halides off for this stream because I'm sick of the tank looking like it's on fire. And I thought, we'll go with a blue hue and see how that works out for the camera. So hopefully you'll like it. Now, today's topic is so timely because I have been wanting to talk about the Mindstream for months, but I was not allowed to. And as of last night, I got an email saying, you can now talk about it. And I was like, ha ha ha. So for the live stream, that is our topic today. Now, the Mindstream is a device that you install in your tank somewhere, and it measures the aquarium's water parameters constantly. I believe it's like every 15 seconds. And I've had it installed on my tank now for several months. And I've moved it to 3 different locations. I had it in the overflow box. I had it in the anemone cube that nobody noticed. And now I've got it down in the sump. And so here is where it is right now. You can see that little white chip above the water line. That will flash a color. There it is, turning green. It's actually doing a measurement of some kind right now. And it works through your Wi-Fi network to communicate with a web browser that then will give you the results very rapidly. And it shows a whole bunch of different water parameters, including some things that you probably have not tested. So I thought that this would be a good topic. So first I want to do is kind of show you what it is, and then I'm going to talk about the web part of how it works. So cool. I'm so glad. Okay, let me start off with a few things really quick. Let me get myself back on camera here. Okay, so the first thing is it's very expensive. And I know they don't want me to say that, but it's $1,000. It's a lot of money. But it's constantly measuring my tank all the time. And because I have a Trident, I actually have 2 sources of measuring now. And then I've got my test kits. And then on top of that, I can ship off water to ICP and compare everyone's results against each other, which is kind of insane because then you start to really freak out about numbers. And we really don't want to freak out about numbers. So yes, the Mindstream is being released at MACNA next weekend. I was going to say later this week because I'm about ready to leave town. And everyone's going to be there to answer questions. It is going to market. People can buy it now. And it's pretty cool. So let me go back there and kind of show you some things physically, and then we'll come back here to the screen. So let me switch you to this camera again. And hopefully you guys will be able to hear me as I wander away like in the past. So the Mindstream is right here. I'm going to take it out of the water. On the outside of the tank is a large magnetic device. I'm going to unplug it first. So it has this large base on the back that holds it to the tank, to your sump, to wherever you're going to put it. And it has a couple of indicator lights on the back that turn blue when it's got power. And then this is the actual device that goes in your aquarium. And it has to be submerged all the way up to the little light. Inside of it is a disc that will then pivot around and around as it measures the various water parameters. And from time to time, you need to take the disc off, clean it, put it back in place, close the door, and put it back in place on your tank. So the process of getting connected to your Wi-Fi is not complicated. You basically put it in, I think it's called seek mode. And so then it starts searching for the available networks, and then you just tell it, this is my Wi-Fi network, this is my Wi-Fi password, and you're in business. So you're seeing the light flash right now because it's going through all of its startups. You'll see it flashing green, and then it'll change to, I don't know, like red, blue, purple, super fast. There we go. And now it's going to start to do a series of different tests, one after another. Alrighty. So now you've kind of seen it, and you can kind of see what it does. And so let me get back on here. What I wanted to show you next was the web panel, or the web app. So you access it with a browser, and you can do it on your smartphone, and you can do it on your desktop, of course. I haven't opened on my smartphone yet. Let me do that really quick. It's going to take me a second. Got to do the username and password thing. So. Sorry, I wanted to show you both versions. I like it on the phone, actually. Got to make sure I get the right URL here. Oh, that's why. Okay. My username. I don't know if it's case sensitive, by the way. We'll find out in a second. And now I got to figure out what my password is. Sorry, this is the one thing I didn't have ready for you guys. I apologize. Copy the password. All right, paste. And it is now loading. Make sure it loads. Come on, baby. Perfect. Okay, so we will switch to, here's the screen. There's my tanks. And what you can see here is alkalinity, calcium, carbon dioxide, salinity, oxygen, the pH probe, potassium, temperature, ammonia, and magnesium. And there are hopes to add more things. So we'll see what gets added. You know, things like nitrate, phosphate. You know, I mean, we always want everything. So this app will have all those things in there, and then you can actually go in, you can look at the graph and see how it's been doing. You can have it notify you. That's why at the top it says safety limits. And if it gets above a certain range, you can have it send you a text or an email to warn you. The same goes for every single one of these elements. And another thing that I do like about it is that what it does is it also allows you to come back here. Nope, not that one. It'll also will notify you if something has gone back into range. So you're told, hey, your calcium's gone a little too high, but then 30 minutes later you might get a notification saying, okay, it's back down where it belongs, all is good. So it's nice to have these things that are double informing you. All right, so that's just looking out on the screen. It's a little bit hard to see it that way, I'm sure, for you guys, especially if you're trying to watch this on a television or something. Now, if we want to do it on a desktop, I hope this will work okay. So here are those same parameters again on the bigger screen. My little picture-in-picture appears to be in the way. Let me see if I can get rid of that. There we go. And so, for example, we can look at salinity and see how it's doing. And it's showing over here, you know, and you can see constantly how it updates. I've got a lot of little windows on my screen like usual, so I can never get to what I'm trying to get to. Just a second, let me drag things. The name of the product is called Mindstream. All right, so here we are at 4 in the morning. It's at 34.5 ppt on the 12th. And then we can jump here to 12 a.m., 6 p.m., 7, 10. I mean, there's all these different data points that are saved in here. to where you can see how your salinity has been changing over the hours, if at all. And salinity would probably typically change when it comes to top-off water being added. It'll affect the system, especially if the system is smaller. The larger it is, the better. You have these notifications on the right side of the screen. Let me see if you can see that. Yeah, you can. These notifications on the right side of the screen are just basically like, hey, heads up. So you can see there are different times where something was out of range or it lost communication temporarily and I had to resolve it. But other than that, the system is great in that I can, like I said, compare things. So if I wanted to go ahead and look at pH, right? And I'm saying, okay, well, this pH probe is measuring, 8.09 there. And then down here, it's at 7.95. I can actually compare that to the apex and see if it's getting me the same measurements, if it's very close or not. And that's the nice part. When you have two things testing simultaneously, you can look at them side by side and get a feel for how things are operating, make sure everything's operating correctly, and kind of have that double security that you're doing everything the right way. So I found that to be a really fascinating aspect of having the Mindstream. And I like that I've had to do nothing but plug it in and just use it. I haven't had to do anything. I mean, other than no pox decided to slime all over it, and I had to go clean all that off. But the device itself, very easy to set up, very easy to access, and then to go in and just see what's going on with your information. And you can go, just a day at a time, or you can look at it for a week, or you can look at it for 14 days. So because I was testing it, I've put it through a lot of its paces to see how it's doing and to see what I could do. And it's, okay, so let me get into that. Rob says, let's see my stickers on here. So the disk holds the reagents. No, actually it doesn't. Somehow they are magically using some kind of, I don't know. The disk has a lot of little pieces on the inside of it, and I think it's doing something with light. And I think it's measuring off of those things, and maybe whatever color they are. I don't know. The disks they have an RFID chip in them, so that way they are always communicating, and they've been calibrated at the factory when you got the disk, and when you install it, they have to know each other. And then it's good for that solid month, and then you replace the disk each month. So you do have that one piece of maintenance that has to happen once a month where you have to go ahead and switch things out. All right, let me take you guys to something a little more interesting. So alkalinity is an interesting one for this company because they are measuring carbonate alkalinity, where everyone else is just measuring straight alkalinity. And there's actually a difference. So when I look at this measurement here, it's relatively close to what my Trident is measuring, which is great. I mean, you want the two to match. But I believe carbonate alkalinity always measures a little bit lower than straight alkalinity that we call DKH. So if my Trident were to say it's 9.3, the Mindstream might say it's 9.1. So it's just a slight little variation because it's measuring it differently. But I've been using it quite a bit, and I'll tell you this one's been a fun one to watch, was potassium, because it's not something I've dosed yet. And I did get some a while back. I bought test kits, and I haven't had any time to deal with any of it. But it's been measuring it for me. And at one point, it even showed that my tank was up to 415, which was surprising to me because I thought it was quite a bit lower based on some ICP tests. And so it was letting me know that, I think on average that my potassium's around 360 to 380. And I heard 400 is the sweet spot, maybe 420 is the high spot. So I could start to dose more. And that's what I'm looking forward into seeing. So that one was an interesting one for me. Ammonia is nothing. I mean, it never moves. I'm looking at my graph. 1 part per billion, it never budges. But the theory is, if something were to die in your tank and ammonia shot up, you'd get a notification so you could find out what's going on with your tank. But I mean, let's say the tank overheated. You better be getting a notification anyway that the temperature's too high, which is also part of the Mindstream because it measures temperature. But it does keep track of ammonia, which is a good thing to do. Some things that we never would look into would be oxygen levels. So that one has been kind of interesting for me to see where the oxygen level lies in my tank. And I kind of want to do something in my tank at some point, like use ChemiClean, to see if the oxygen will plummet, like we always hear, because I'm very curious if that's the case. So for now, I have this nice smooth line, so to speak, and it's good enough. But if it were to suddenly drop like a rock, I would be checking my fish, of course, to see if they're gasping. So I found that interesting. The other thing that they measure that none of us think about is carbon dioxide. We talk about it all the time, but we don't actually measure it, and the Mindstream does. So here is my daily graph for the last 7 days of how, well, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, the last 5 days, that shows the carbon dioxide level in the house and how high it got, and then how much it lowered as it got into the night, and then as it rose again. Apparently I'm breathing during the daytime a little bit more than at night. But you know, if you have dogs and family members in a party, you could probably watch this thing shoot up very, very high and even give you a notification that carbon dioxide levels are too high in your home and could be affecting your tank adversely. So that one's an interesting one to keep track of. I think I covered them all. When it comes to things like salinity, you're not going to have to calibrate that. The disc is calibrated, so when you put it in, you should be getting a correct reading. And in my tank, it's been measuring somewhere, you know, I've multiple devices. I have a handheld refractometer. I have a refractometer that sits on a tabletop. I've got one that kind of looks like a really fat Sharpie pen that you can put in a glass of water or in the tank itself. And my salinity has been measuring pretty close to this number, maybe a little bit lower. So I tend to believe it. All right. Okay, let me come back to the screen for you guys. If I can find myself. Here we are. All right, and I've been watching your comments come through. So this is kind of the information that I can tell you at this point. The discs you get is a subscription plan, so you just sign up for it, and then every month you're going to get your new disc. You don't have to like remember to go buy it. It'll just show up. And you'll probably get a notification saying change the disc. I would assume, you know, that seems logical to me. And I did do an unboxing video that will be coming out, and I haven't done it yet because I wasn't allowed to talk about it. But now that I am, and I thought, well, I want to do the live stream today. Let me talk about this live with you guys instead. But the unboxing video will come out post-MACNA, and I'll have some nice screenshots and stuff, and you know, kind of some good close-ups of everything, I think. And hopefully you'll find it to be something that you might be interested in getting, because it sure is nice when you have to travel and you're gone from your tank for days or weeks, and you can just open your app and see where you're at. And you know, there's a lot of devices on the market, and this is just one of the newest ones that's come to market. So let's see. Oh, since we were talking about comparing things, I did want to put this on the screen too. How do I find that? That's a scene. I need an overlay. So, because I wanted to give you guys a slight comparison. And what I'll probably do here is, let me first of all do this. So this, whoops. Oh, it's perfect. That's what I want. This is the actual parameters of my tank as of 20 minutes ago. So you can see over here, the temperature is 78.2. The pH is measuring about 7.9. Ignore salinity. That probe's been wrong for a long time. So I have to figure out what's the deal with it. And here's ORP. And then over here on the far right, you can see under the Trident tab or widget, it shows that alkalinity is measuring 9.03, calcium is 417, and magnesium is measuring at 1481, which is why I have not dosed magnesium in months, because it seems to be quite high. Now I'm going to shrink this down a little bit and shove it over here. And then maybe I can, I don't know if this is going to work. Maybe I can do this again and get this back on the screen for you. Let's see. Okay, can I drag this? So now there's a little bit of a comparison. I don't know if you want to look at these tiny numbers to do some side-by-sides. Let's see if I can do anything here. So if I go like this, and then I go like this, that kind of covers up everything. But, you know, alkalinity 9.13, the alkalinity carbonate from Mindstream versus 9.03 with the Trident. So they're very close to each other. The Trident also measures calcium, which was measuring at 417. And over here it says 398. So again, they're very, very close. And then magnesium is measuring at 15, you know, almost 1500. What did I say? 1481. And here it's showing 1347. The Mindstream magnesium measurement comes a lot closer to my ELOS test kit. So I am tending to believe it more so. But I also got some ICP test results sent to me, and I looked through all of them, and I was doing a lot of comparisons. Who says how much do I have of this, and what am I lacking, and so forth. And I have one more test waiting to come in. I sent out 3 different ones, and so I need to find out what they all are. So that's kind of it for that topic. And if there's anything else I can answer, I'll try. Feel free to ask. It's been in production for years. The idea probably surfaced 5 years ago at MACNA as, I think it was, as a Kickstarter. And then it kind of slowed down, then it picked up some investors, and then it picked up some speed. And then I'd say for the last 6 months, they have been in overdrive to get these to market. So that is where we are now with the Mindstream. Now, while I'm waiting for any of your questions to appear, I'll remind you that this Saturday, I have nothing ready. I'm not good at this. Do I have it? No, I do not. Let's see if I can find it. Desktop. Next Saturday is going to be our first annual meetup at MACNA in Florida, and that's going to be 12:30 on Saturday in a special room for meetups. I don't know the room number yet, but I'll probably post it somehow and get the word out as soon as I see it in the program. And that will be a gathering where we're going to go ahead and get together, and I'm hoping there's enough signal to do a quick little hi everyone live stream from the meetup and kind of show you who came. And while we're there, we're going to go ahead and also everyone's going to get their coasters, the Mila's Reef coasters that have been going out in all the shipments this whole week. Also, I have stickers that are going to be there, and I've also got some door prizes I'm bringing. I've got door prizes I'm bringing that things I have here that I'm going to give away, as well as some things from Brightwell, and it looks like we're going to get something from Flipper as well. So that's kind of exciting, and it gives you a chance to walk away with a goodie. And I think it'll be fun just to kind of get together and hang out for about 45 minutes. So if you are interested in attending, it's 12:30 Saturday, and you're definitely invited. And who knows, maybe we'll even have licorice there. It's important to have a treat. All right. Also, in other news, this week, the 3D printed screens for the Nero 5 came in, and I shipped out all the pre-orders. So if you are wanting to get one for your Nero 5 pump, they're here now, and I can ship them on Monday. But then after that, I'm gone. I'm gone for a week, and so all shipments that are still pending are going to be pending until I come back into town again. But I'm pretty current with most of my customers right now. And so I'm just letting you guys know, if there's anything you want to buy, do it this weekend. I'll try to get it on Monday. And then, if it can't go out Monday, it'll have to go out a week later because I will be away. Alrighty. Someone asked, first question, does the Chemour pump come with a tube holder for in the tank? I don't think so. I'm trying to remember. I hooked mine up months ago. It came with a pump. You can take the head and you can put it pointing down, or you can point it at 12 o'clock, 3 o'clock, 9 o'clock, or 6 o'clock, 9 o'clock. And it comes with tubing. It's the only thing you need is scissors to cut the length of the tubing. But no, there's no tubing holder included. But other than that, super easy to use. And I have quite a few of those in stock. Oh, thank you, Christine. The reason I am trying to grab them out of the chat instead of the doc is because I can paste them into the show when I do it this way. But let me open that up so I can see what I missed. Shane says, so what's wrong what's the problem with the walkboard? And he's the one that delayed our show a few minutes today. He showed up exactly at 2 o'clock, and we had to pull it out of the tank really quick, out of the stand, and he took it away. So he's going to fix it up, make it a little bit better. Right now, it's just, it's not quite exactly, the legs are not exactly the same. One's like up slightly, I think. And so it makes it a little harder to install it, and it drags. And so he's going to do something to make it glide in more readily. So I'm hoping that'll be a simple solution. Chip asks, can the Mindstream be completely submersed? Yes, it can. However, once it is fully submersed, like if the power was out and your sump filled up with water and it covered the top, at that point it can no longer communicate through Wi-Fi. But if power's out, probably your router is out as well. But you know, it's just for those minutes that your sump is covering the sensor on the top, or the light, you know, the signal giver. Once you've covered that up, I think you may have problems getting communication right then. And then as soon as everything's back to normal again, it'll just resume. Because every night when I turn off my return pump to feed the reef, it gets covered. And then 10 minutes later, it comes back, you know, the return pump turns back on, the water goes up in the tank, and the sump level drops down to the exact height you saw of where it is right now, which is still right there. So it works out really well like there. I like that spot, actually. It's pretty good. Tyler says, so the Kimura pump needs to be above the water level? Yeah, I would say it has to be above the water level because we never want to do anything that can cause a siphon. Now, when you're dosing, you're going to be drawing from a container into the Kimura, and then you're trickling out of the Kimura into your tank or into your sump. And you want to just kind of look at everything and make sure it makes sense. But I haven't had anything weird happen. I've been dosing Nopox, which pretty potent stuff. And I've had no surprises, thank God. It's run 5 months without any surprises. I was able to open the app on my phone and change the amount I wanted to dose every once in a while to a lesser amount and a lesser amount. But I've never seen it like continue to drip or trickle or anything weird like that. So. J Fusion, thank you for the compliment. Yeah, I wanted to get all these orders out as quickly as I possibly could. Trajan, I don't know how to say that. Trajan said that Focustronic just announced the release of Mastertronic, a device that will monitor calcium, magnesium, nitrate, and phosphate. It's the new era of tank monitoring for sure. Yeah, there's more and more of these devices coming to market. Soon we're going to be debating, well, which one do I want the most? And hopefully we'll find something that we really like, because it can be a real challenge trying to choose what's your best bet. For me, using the Apex with a Trident is great because it helps me control my calcium reactor to cycle it on and off as needed to maintain that steady alkalinity all the time. And I did measure my alkalinity right before the stream, and it was 9.5 on my test kit, and I said that the Mindstream said that it was, well, the Trident said that it was 9.03, and the Mindstream said it was 9.13. So they're all really close within range. I mean, my target has been right around 9, and it's staying around 9. And when it comes to measuring alkalinity and counting drops, you know, there is a slight margin for error. And so to have my kit come in right around 9.5 pretty much matched the other two. So that part was good. Let's see. All right, what are your other questions, guys? This is your chance. We got about 28 minutes left in the show. Adrian says, can my Keita Morpha die off if nutrients are too low? The Keto is not looking good, and the nitrates and phosphates are at 0. Well, yeah, you kind of answered your own question. When your nitrates and phosphates are so low that there's nothing showing up on a test kit, that's basically no fuel for the plants to grow. Just like when we grow our lawns, we have to put nitrogen on there to help the grass turn greener. And when it rains, it gets free nitrogen, which makes the lawn look so pretty. The same thing, if you were just to water it with nothing good in it, your lawn will get more and more pale. And your Keita Morpha is probably in a situation where it's getting a lot of light and it's got no nutrients and it's just going to basically decay away. That being said, I've not been very good with Keita Morpha. It's one of the plants that I've tried a few different times, and you know, it lives for a little while and just kind of fades away, where other people can grow this giant parcel of it, and I'm so impressed that they're able to do that. But I have a lot of luck with Feather Callirpa. Matter of fact, I did want to talk about that really quick. Let me see if I can move this camera and show you guys something. I don't know if this is going to work. Let's see what we got here. I need to see what view you're going to get because I can't tell. I need like a little holder of some kind. Well, maybe I can just shove it over here. And I want to lift up, I got to see what's happening. Got to check my work. All right, so here is the refugium. And I'm going to raise the light up. Okay. So now you can see my macroalgae. Everyone always says, what is that? This is feather caulerpa. It is the one plant that I've been growing forever. Real quick, thank you, Dimitar. That's really nice of you. I super appreciate the super chat. Thank you. All right, so this feather caulerpa has been, it's what I started the new sump with. I had some, and it was maybe half of the refugium was filled with plants. And now it's got a ton of plants. And it is super thick and lush and deep. And I'm just like, wow, look at all this. And you see, the funny thing is, when I saw this, I was thinking, I don't know how it's going to do because I switched to this new light. And the light to my eyeballs didn't look bright enough. It just looked a little weak. And so I was concerned. But I've had this light going now for several weeks. And the plants have only gotten thicker and thicker, and it's ready to harvest. I need to pull some out and remove it to make room for more to grow in there. So that's the height I normally keep it at. Now the little bits of dust that you might be able to see in the video is basically the remnants of no-pox that's all over the plants. I tried to clean it off as best I could, and a lot of it is removed, but there's still a bunch in there, and I'm kind of still in cleaning mode trying to remove that stuff from within the water. But yeah, I'm very impressed with this macroalgae. Fragile Reefer, back to the Mindstream, asks, have you noticed any detectable ammonia? I wonder if it spikes after a heavy feeding. Well, I've been feeding, what I consider a decent amount of food every single night. And the highest I ever saw it go up was 4 part per billion instead of 1 part per billion. But then it seemed like within the next test or so, it came right back down again. So it's a very minor blip. The food itself isn't going to cause ammonia, but the fish eating it and then peeing afterwards could add some to the water. And that's kind of what I saw. It wasn't anything that I was thinking, oh no, ammonia. As a matter of fact, I was like, do I even care about ammonia? But it's nice to know. It's nice to have that on your screen to be able to look at it. Feather caulerpa is the type of macroalgae. I'll get it to you guys. Feather caulerpa. And I believe that this is the correct name. Let me scoot this over a little bit so you can see it. So this stuff just grows and grows and grows. And I'm able to put it in every refugium I've ever run. And I've never had it die off. I've never had it go sexual. That's one of the questions people ask. I don't do 24 hours of light. I do 9 hours of light each day. And that is all, just plant. I mean, it just grows. And you can just pull some off. Sometimes there'll be bristleworms in there. You might want to wear gloves when you're pulling some out. And ideally, you want to pull out about 25% each month to make room for new growth to continue to export nutrients. So that is what I recommend to others because I like it. And aquariumplants.com will sell it. Or I'm sorry, live-plants.com would sell it. But this time of year, it is so hot, I really don't recommend it. I think you guys should wait until the weather cools off a little bit so your package doesn't bake on the way to you, because it's a live plant and sitting in hot water. Let's say the water gets 90, 100 degrees. It being in survival mode, I'd be surprised. I mean, I don't know. Now, I don't think that they're going to ship macroalgae like they do a live fish, where it has to be there literally like in 12 hours. So especially, like hobbyists, when they send it to each other, they'll do priority mail. It's like 2-3 days long. Not in the heat of the summer. I don't recommend that. All right. Update on my back. It hurts like crazy. And my MRI is going to be on Monday. So I will get it checked or scanned on Monday. I'll get some discs, and I won't be able to talk to anyone about those results until I come back from ACNA. But at least I'll have the information ready to show to a doctor and a surgeon. So, Jonathan says, are you planning to record any videos of the MACNA talks and post them? No, I don't need to do that. Historically, every year, Bulk Reef Supply does that. I guess they sponsor all the filming. and then they release all of the speakers. And last year they released like all the speakers on the same day. So basically, you know, you waited 2 weeks and then boom, here's 24 talks. It was crazy. And it was funny because when they trickle them out slowly, like here's 5 speakers, here's 5 speakers, people are like, why is it taking so long? And then when they said, here's 24 speakers, people are like, why did you give us so many? And I thought that was kind of funny because, I mean, if you have the choice of all those speakers, you can pick the ones you want to watch, and you can watch them right now, just like we binge watch everything on Netflix or Hulu or Prime. So you can binge watch all the talks that BRS releases a couple weeks after MACNA, maybe 3. Let's see. Green Navy says, are you able to have Callirpa and use Nopox? Well, this is my Callirpa, and I've been dosing Nopox for almost 5 months. So, yes, is my answer. My nitrates, according to one ICP analysis, are like 5. According to my 2 test kits, they're over 25. The Trident and the Mindstream do not measure nitrates, so I don't know, but I have one more test coming in. I'm hoping to see what that result is. But I was like, 5? Wouldn't that be great? I just don't believe it. So, I don't know. I've been looking very closely at my corals lately. I'm at the end of my rope with the whole Nopox experience. I'm pretty much, I'm going to let this bottle dwindle down, and then I think I'm just going to not think about it anymore. You know, I still want to add some more fish, but maybe I'll just go a different route with something cute and small and just a couple, and now I don't have to worry about adding more nitrate to the system. Let's see. Rogue Aquarium, thank you very much for the super chat. And yeah, I'm trying to do the good work. I will try to keep it up. Hake says, what inverts are in your 400 gallon? Well, I have some starfish, serpent starfish. I have some Nacerius snails. I have a lot of Trochus snails. I have hermit crabs. And it's a light crew. There needs to be more, but the tank is taking care of itself. So I haven't really had a need to like really beef it up. But at the same time, I prefer to have a lot of critters in the tank, so that way it keeps everything nice and clean and pristine. But I mean, all I did today was clean the glass. And the tank is really doing well overall. I have a fighting conch right here, and I have one right here. And I'm pretty sure both of those are empty shells because they haven't moved in weeks. And I'm about that far from sure it's just empty and like a worm ate it, because normally it would be moving around and doing something. But for the most part, my rock work is pretty clean. There's some Valonia here and there. There's some Mahanos I need to take care of. I got to move a few things from like this Fungia, and there's one in there. They're stinging these chalices, and I got to remove them and put them in the back. But Shane picked up my walkboard, so now I got to work off of a step ladder. That will not be fun. So they'll have to wait. But I have a cleaner shrimp in my frag system, and when I reset that tank, I'm going to grab the cleaner shrimp and I'm going to drop it in my reef. I also have a coral beauty in there, so that'll go in my reef. And I have a 6-line wrasse, so that'll go in my reef because I'd like to get all those in there. And then once that tank is up and running well and so forth, that will be when I start to really consider catching the hippo tang from the anemone cube and put it in the frag system, because that's a nice long tank for it to swim in. But I'll tell you, a lot of people have said, well, how is Dory? Why haven't you moved Dory? Why is Dory still in that tank? You're so horrible. No one says that. But the fish is this big. It's not that big. It's not like I have a hippo tang in my 60-gallon aquarium. It's little. And I was looking at it, and I'm looking at it in relation to everything. And, it swims everywhere. It dodges tentacles all day long. In the morning, the tentacles are small because the lights haven't come on yet. And she has a lot more room to swim. And, of course, in the evening, there's tons of tentacles everywhere from all the fluffed up anemones. But at the same time, the hippo doesn't seem affected. There's no like burn marks or sting marks on its body. It seems to know where to swim and where not to. And when I feed the tank every night, she is like at the surface ready to get as many pieces in her mouth as possible. She does eat nori off of a clip from time to time, so that's been nice. But that's about it. I mean, it's like she's actually good. She's not in distress. She's not stuck. She's not restricted, but it'll be nice to get her in a tank where she has more swimming space, and she'll probably really enjoy that. Let me go check that dock and see what else I've missed. Hey, it's all empty. Good. We got another 17 minutes left, and then I'm wrapping this up. Corey says, are you selling any of the feather clerp on your store? I don't sell livestock. I sell dry goods. So, no. Sean says, what's the discount code for the Mindstream? I don't know. Google is your friend. Maybe there's one out there. I love that. That's great. Yeah, everyone wants a coupon code. Okay, Mark, I have had MRIs. This is probably my third one. And while it's not comfortable, I just realized I'm only going to be in there for X amount of minutes. So it kind of lets my mind rest a little bit. It's very noisy. So even though they give you like headphones to have you listen to music, you really can't hear anything as soon as the machine's really going. And then when it kind of goes through its different cycles and stops and starts up, you get to hear music for a little bit, and then suddenly it's back to rum, 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 rum. And it's like, okay. And all I'm trying to do the entire time I'm in an MRI is don't move, because I don't want them to have a blurry image. I want it to be crystal clear. And so if I can get them the best picture possible so they can analyze what's wrong with me, that would be awesome. I'll tell you, last night, so 2 weeks ago, my back was a nightmare. It was so bad. I told you guys about it. Everyone was worried. And then last week it was better. And last night it kind of hit me full force again. And it felt, I pretty much was awake all night last night. I'd drift off and I'd wake up and I was like, oh, it's still, still hurting. And it felt like my spine was hot. I don't know if that's a thing, but that's the best description I can give you. It felt hot and I feel warm. And, I took a thermometer to check, but it was one of those ones where you just point at your skin and it said you're not hot. I'm like, yeah, whatever. I'm totally hot. I know I am. You're a liar. Everything I measure with lies to me. So, Fish Tank Barn, thank you so much for the super chat. And oh yeah, I should definitely do that. I can't believe you're not coming. You have to come. But I'm sorry you can't. So yes, I will go drink that coffee. Thank you so much. Herb says, how much, is it herb or is it herb? I'm kidding, I'm kidding. How much are disc replacements? I think I paid out of pocket $2,000 last time and the insurance covered the rest. And I'm pretty sure the bill was like this big and then the insurance company said, no, it's this big. And then I had to pay this much of it. So maybe it was 30,000. I don't know. Maybe it was 50,000. I really don't know. Diacanthus Reef asks, did you remove the cowrie? The big one, the tiger tail cowrie, or tiger spot? The tiger cowrie. Just one day it was empty. I had it for years and years, and then I think one day it got off the glass and it exposed its meaty self, and I think something opportunistically took it out. So that was kind of a bummer, because I really enjoyed it, but at the same time, it was such a bulldozer. I cannot tell you how many times it knocked all my hammer corals into the sea bay anemone, and then the sea bay anemone just killed the polyps. And I'd notice it the next day, and I'd lift the coral back up, and the anemone would like, finally, and then I'd see how many were dead. And it was really frustrating. So I'm just, kind of glad it's not my tank anymore because of that. Other than that, it was really cool to observe. I really enjoyed it. I'd like to get some money cowries. If you guys don't have a money cowrie in your tank, you should get one. They're so pretty. The shell's about that big, and it puts a little membrane or skin over the shell, and it has all these little like feathery branches coming off of it, and it just kind of hangs out in your tank. And it's a grazer. It eats algae, and it'll be on the glass, it'll be on the rock, it'll be crawling across the sand to get to the glass or the rock. Really cool critter. Don't cost a lot. I would say maybe $8 or $9 at the fish store. Money cowries are really, really pretty, and they seem to hold up really well. Where the tiger cowrie is the size of a lemon. It's big, and needs a lot of food. I feel like you need a really big tank to keep one happy and alive. Cliffy Poos says, is there any particular reason why you don't have any shrimp in your tank? Well, I used to have some wrasses in there, and now I don't. I had a mystery wrasse, and I had a melanurus wrasse, and I had a yellow chorus wrasse. And the mystery wrasse one day just died. For no reason whatsoever. I just found its body on the bottom of the tank. I was like, okay. And then the melanurus, it was getting old, and it finally, and that was the one that I shared a video of a long time ago where it would like slither through the hammer corals and rest on top. It was hilarious. And it got old, and one of its eyes had this weird like yellow dot on it. I couldn't explain that. And then its body looked weird, and then it died. And then the yellow chorus jumped, and I hadn't had a fish jump in forever. I was really shocked to find this fish on the ground. So now that there's no wrasses in my tank, it's a great time for me to add some ornamental shrimp. Also, something that might be fun to add would be a couple of pipefish. I've been thinking about doing that as well. They're very small, they're very curious to look at, and they're great at eating the bugs you don't want in your corals. They'll go devour all those little pests. So in that regard, I kind of want a couple of those. I think that'd be really cool. So I have a desire to get some things, and for the tank, I've just been kind of dragging my feet. You know, it's summer, but this fall I see myself getting some more livestock to add to the tank. All right. Fun with reefing, thank you so much for your order. I appreciate that. And now that you've mentioned that, I should put this on the screen. So please do buy things from mealersreef.com. That is what helps keep this channel going and helps me keep eating and allows Spock to get a meal. So it's always good to buy something from your local hobbyist, you know, your YouTube hobbyist. And that way I can put some cool aquarium supplies in your possession. I try to get them out as quickly as I possibly can. And you know, if it's something that just drops in a box like Live Rock Enhance or Phosphate Rex or a 10 micron sock, that's super easy. If it's something that has to be built out of acrylic, there might be a slight delay as you're waiting for me to build another, because I do have a lot of orders that go through, and so you'll see it on the website, and by the time you've ordered it, it's already gone, and I've got to make, you know, a few more of that. And so I work every day. My mom actually told me, I want you to start taking one day off a week. Yes, Tyler, there are plenty of coasters left. I ordered 1,000. I'm going to take, I don't know, 100 with me to Macna, maybe. And they're going to be at the meetup, so you can get one there. And then, you know, they're going to go in every order that goes out. I've had a few people say, hey, how can I get a coaster? And I was like, place an order. Which I know is a little, you know. But at the same time, I said I'm going to include them with every order. So I'm keeping my word, you know. And so I'm just recommending, find something you need. There's got to be something on my website you need. And it could be something as simple as a little John Guest fitting for your RO system. Like, oh, I need new tea. Well, perfect. Buy a tea, get a coaster. 508 says, I just bought a very small Mimic Tang and a Flame Angel. The half black Mimic Tang is absolutely stunning. Oh, well, that's great. Mimic Tangs are really pretty. And I have the Cold Tang in my system that's got the white tail. And she's got some markings on her face that I can't seem to clear up. I'm assuming the only real solution is to catch her and put her in a hospital tank and figure out what she's got. But I was told by a couple of different people, it's dietary. She's not getting enough of the food she needs. So I have not been good about really hitting the tank with nori every single day. And I think I need to do that. At least, you know, I should try that. And I need to order some more nori because I'm all out. But if I could put nori in every day, it'd be really nice to see that fish just completely go back to its beautiful self. And it just comes down to me remembering to take care of that. Chip says I'm dealing with vermitid snails, snails again, and he had heard that bumblebee snails will help eat them. I've heard that too. I've heard that a few places. I don't know if it's true, but Google is your friend. Maybe you'll find some proof. But I'm hearing that, and I haven't, you know, when I saw someone mention it, I didn't see someone say that's not true. So that's a good sign. So there's a good chance you will be able to do this, you know, to add those in there and take care of it. H2O says, can I mix Keita Morpha with Callirpa? You can, but the two different plants like different types of flow. Like years ago, we were told that when you have Keita Morpha, it should tumble. So you need some decent flow in the refugium. Where with Callirpa, it just kind of grows up and the water doesn't have to move very hard. And so that's been my go-to. But then you've got people growing Keita Morpha in a reactor where it's a coil of light going around a tube. And that plant isn't moving in there and it grows really big. So maybe the movement isn't quite as necessary as people were indicating, you know, a decade ago. But I had some in this refugium, and the Callirpa just took over. It just beat it up, and you know, the stuff just vanished. The Keita Morpha was just gone. You know, I saw it for a while. It looked like a steel wool ball, and it looked like less of a steel wool ball, and then there was a piece of it, and then there was none. I was like, all right. I just don't have any luck with Keita Morpha. James, I didn't even consider it. It didn't even occur to me. I've been just part of testing it and giving them feedback. And I think, well, I'll find out at Macna what they're doing, but I have a feeling, yeah, I don't even have any idea how they're going to sell it. I feel like they're going to sell it directly from their own website, like straight to the consumer. I don't believe it's going to end up on websites like BRS and Premium Aquatics, but I could be 100% wrong on that one, and you'll see it available everywhere. But yeah, I don't know. I'll ask them next weekend. Logan says, how long have you had your copper band? Oh, I don't know. Can someone chime in? 2.5, 3 years, I guess. I don't recall. I can't remember when I got it. I remember where I got it, and it was in the fall. So we're almost into fall now, so we could be coming up on 3 years if my 2.5 was right. Otherwise, it's 2. So it's either 2 or 3 years. Great fish. It ate all my Aptasia. It's not doing a great job with Mahanos. I have to go in there and kill them. Matter of fact, on my countertop is this. So this is a new Taoiseach Killer that also works for Mahanos. That's very thick. It uses a stick that you have to stir it first. Then you have to shake it. And then when you've got it all mixed up, then you'll put it inside the little syringe. And so here's your very small syringe. And I believe, yeah, it comes with some tips, which I really do like. So you've got this style that's straight, and you've got this one that's at a slight angle, so you can kind of get at an Aptasia under the rock. And here is the product itself. So it's the color of this is almost peach color, and it's got to be really well shaken up. But I've heard it's amazing. Everyone's raving about this stuff, so I bought a bottle when I was at Frank's, and he's been selling a lot of it, and everyone's saying it's amazing. And I just have to get my arm wet, and you guys know I don't like getting my arm wet. So that is I'm going to be using that to get rid of some Mahanos that are in this area of my tank. And there's also a whole bunch of Aptasia in my anemone cube, which is ironic. It is the anemone cube, and here I'm going to kill glass anemones, but they got to go. So I need to go in there and get them done. JH, thank you very much. I appreciate that. Mark D, no, I did not try that. Hi, Scott. Scott is from Scotland. You did that on purpose, didn't you? I just pictured that lake filled with Scots. Get it? My silly brain. Hey, Dan, I saw your email today. Thank you very much for that. I just didn't have a chance to reply. I was trying to get everything set up. But I did see that, and I'm glad you got your order and you like the coaster. So Mojave, what I'm planning to do is film some interviews at the show, and then those will cut to the YouTube channel. And I'm going to try and film an overview of the events, and I'm going to go to some talks. I'm going to go to some meetups. I got to go to my meetup on Saturday at 12:30, and I want to go to the Apex meetup Friday morning first thing. There's a meetup. I just talked with Paula from the Dallas World Aquarium, and they're doing a women in reefing meetup on Friday afternoon, and I might just swing by there because I love seeing more women hobbyists in this hobby. And I heard last year they had a ton of people in that room. You know, like that was their first time gathering, and something like 80 people showed up, which is great. You know, I mean, it was 80 women. You know, so the more women hobbyists, the better, in my opinion. I feel like we should have more women in this because women love fish and they love corals too. And I see them asking so many questions on Facebook groups that I'm thinking, why does it say everyone says that it's male dominated, and yet I see female posts all the time? So I feel like there's more and more. I don't know why they're not being represented more. Not yet, anyway. It's weird. Andreas says, yes, the bumblebees do work. Thank you. Appreciate that. Well, Jono, my Hydra 52 dropped into the tank, and it's stuck on the white and blue. I can't change the colors. I can't turn them on or off. I think you need to send it in, or you have to buy a new one. You know, these lights are not designed to fall into the water. And when those things happen, you know, it's sort of like our cell phone. Put in a bag of rice. You know, that's the go-to solution to everything. But invariably, I end up at Apple, and they fix what's broken on my phone. So I'm going to say, if the light went in the water, the salt water is very corrosive. I've tried to save electronics in the past by pouring rubbing alcohol all over it to displace all the moisture, but it's still not a 100% guarantee. And, you know, at this point, you can't even control the thing. I think you should consider that you might just have to get a new one and find a way to avoid letting that light ever fall in your tank again. Some kind of safety system that's in place so that way it's guaranteed to stay in place. So, Bode, thank you very much for the compliment. I appreciate you tuning in from Belgium. The brand of this solution that I was talking about, it's called Taoiseach Killer, and the F stands for exactly what you think. It used to have a middle finger on the front, and the company said, we want to sell it, but we can't. You have to remove that middle finger. So he changed it to this picture, and I think they've changed it again since then. The labels keep getting changed, but it's apparently it's a good thing. So I can't wait to try it out because I haven't tried out that version yet. Apparently it does some really neat stuff. Jess says, how often do you feed your fish? Well, they get auto-fed a couple times a day with a Eheim auto feeder, and it's just a little bit of flake food. And then every night I give frozen food that's been thawed out to all the fish in the 3 tanks. And I do it every single night. And when I travel, my tank sitter thaws out the fish food and puts that in the tank whenever he comes by. David says, who's going to Macna? Now's your chance. Everyone reply. I'll be there. Let's see. Let's see. We're near the end. Oh, it's almost 3 o'clock. Okay, we've got 1 minute left. If there's one more question, I'm going to tackle it. Otherwise, I don't see a question. I'm at the bottom. Fragile Reefer, I think I answered your question before. I haven't noticed any measurable ammonia. So, today is Water Test Saturday. And it is very important that you test your tank, whether you have a Mindstream or a Trident or an Alkatronic or a KH Guardian or all the devices. You want to calibrate them. You want to grab your test kits for the things you can't measure and measure those. You want to find out all your details so that way if there's anything you need to adjust in your tank, adjust it. And since many of you are going to Macna, make sure you're making your changes right now, like today, so your tank has a few days to adjust to what you've done before you leave town for a few days. So that way your reef doesn't suddenly get hit with some crazy change as you're walking out the door. Other than that, guys, thank you so much for tuning in. And there will not be a live stream next week unless I can get my phone to get a good connection from within the Macna conference. And if it does, it'll be a quick little 15-minute thing from the meetup. I thought that would be kind of cool if we have a signal, but I have no idea if that's going to work. But we can try. And if we don't get a signal, I'll film something there and I'll just upload it to YouTube really quick that evening so you guys get a little peek at what's going on. Other than that, I hope you guys have a great weekend. And anytime you need to reach me, hit the Contact Us on my website, and I'll reply to your email. I check them every single day. Thanks, guys. Bye-bye.